So in number 1 through 6, as we review the lesson on radians and degrees, we are going to sketch the terminal angle and do it as accurately as possible. Then we'll identify which quadrant it lies in and convert from degrees to radians or vice versa. So what I don't want is I don't want you just going, I know it's in quadrant 4 and you making this line. I would count it wrong. So 330, I'm counting by threes. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. 21, 24, 27, there's 30, and there's 33, or 330. So here's my terminal angle. I need to see it accurate. This lies in quadrant number 4, and now I'm quickly going to convert from degrees to radians. So I'm going to multiply it times pi over 180. As I showed you last week and in the videos, we can take our calculator and go 330, do not include the pi, divided by 180, hitting math, fraction, enter, enter, and we can see that this is going to reduce to 11 pi over 6. So where am I going to find negative 185? It's not one of those common angles. That's a 30, 60, 45 type of angle, but we can figure it out. So because it's negative, I'm in a reverse direction. And I know to get to this point is going to be a negative 180. I need to go just slightly above that. So here's my terminal angle. It lands in quadrant number 2. And now I need to convert it. So negative 185 times pi over 180. I'm grabbing that calculator again. I'm not going to include the negative sign right now. But I'm going to take 185 divided by 180, hitting math, fraction, enter, enter, and I end up with 37 over 36. Here's what you need to be careful of. A lot of you are going to write 37 over 36, and I have to count it wrong. What did I forget? I forgot the pi and the negative sign. The negative sign can be on top, in the middle, and the bottom, as long as there's just one negative sign. Here's your next one. You have 1 minute to locate 480. This is a tricky one. So I recognize that 480 is greater than 360. In fact, as I showed you last week, if you divide by 360, this says there will be one full revolution and a little bit more. So I'm going to start with taking away 360. That's the one revolution. That means 480 is comprised of 360 plus 120. This is the same as 360 plus 120. So I'm going to go one time around. That's my 360. And now I need to get to 120. I'm going to count by threes. 3, 6, 9, 12. So right over here, there's my terminal angle. It lands in quadrant 2. Notice I'm going to try to be as precise as possible when I sketch it. And now I need to convert it. So I'm going to take 480. I'm going to divide by 360. And when I do math, fraction, enter, enter, it ends up being, excuse me, it ends up being 4 pi over 3. Hold on here. I don't like that. Hold on 1 second. I must have typed it in wrong. 480 divided by 1. I typed it in wrong. I meant to put 480 divided by 180. Let's try 8 pi over 3. Does that sound a little better? 8 pi over 3. Now we're going to transition. Instead of going from degrees, locating the terminal angle, sketching it, deciding the quadrant, and transferring from degrees to radians, we're going to do just the opposite. What I don't want you to do is first to convert it into degrees. I want you to accurately sketch that, determine where does the terminal angle lie, identify the quadrant, and then convert it into degrees. So how do I find this? Okay, as a reminder, if we think back to our lessons last week, and I think about the orange triangle or the green triangle, this is an example of the orange triangle, or where that reference angle, that interior angle is 30 degrees. So I'm counting, here we go, 1 pi over 6, 2 pi over 6, 3 pi over 6, 4 pi over 6, and here's 5 pi over 6. Make sure to draw that line going straight out. That is my terminal angle. This lands in quadrant number 2. Now how am I going to go about figuring out what this is in terms of degrees? Some of you may just have it memorized. You know, it's just 150, great. Others, what can we do? So when the pi is on top, I need to multiply it by not pi over 180, but 180 over pi. So I know that when I do this, the pi's, you may think of them as canceling. Really, they're going to be reduced. And so I'm going to take my calculator right now, and I'm going to take 5 times 180, and then I'm going to divide it by 6. And we can see that is equivalent to 150 degrees. All right, here's your next one. Please do. We have 2 left. Please do it this time. Number 5. Number 5, begin. Why is this so difficult? If you haven't memorized where this is, we have to look at the denominator. We want to ideally turn it into a 4 or turn it into a 6 by multiplying. Is it easier to take 3 and turn it into a 4 or 6 by multiplying? 6 times 2 times 2. This is equivalent to 8 pi over 6. Okay, I can do that. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here's where the terminal angle is. It lands in quadrant number 3. Now, how do I turn it into an equivalent degrees? I'm multiplying by 180 over pi, which means I'm grabbing my calculator, and I'm taking 4 times 180 in parentheses, 4 times 180, and then I'm going to divide it by a value of 3. And those pi's on top and bottom are going to be simplified to 1. And that's how we end up with this 240. This is equivalent to 240 degrees. Very last problem. There's multiple ways to achieve this. Please begin. What's tricky about this is the denominator is not a 4, it's not a 6. You can choose to make it a 4, you can choose to make it a 6. We can land on the exact same answer. For instance, if I want this to be a 6, I go times 3, and I'd have negative 33 over 6. So please listen. Negative sign says I'm in reverse direction. How many times around? How many groups of 6 when I make one revolution?
5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 12 one time around. I need to get to 33, so there's 12. Now I'm at 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. That's where the terminal angle lies. Now, which quadrant am I in? I'm not in any quadrant. Quadrants are like the rooms. What axis is this? I'm on the y-axis, and then I'm going to convert this right now. So I'm going to take 11 times 180, and then I'm going to divide it by 2. Make sure we include that negative sign. Negative 990 degrees would be where that terminal angle lands.